After working with Cursor for several months, I've created this tutorial to cover everything you need to know about it. We'll discuss what Cursor is, go over proven guidelines, and explore its key features. I've also added chapter markers to help you navigate through the video easily. Feel free to ask questions in the comments. Let's get started. So, what is Cursor? Cursor is a code editor that comes with AI built right in. It's built on top of Visual Studio Code, VS Code, but takes it to the next level with features that help you write, understand, and refactor code, all without leaving the editor. There's a big buzz around it, and for a reason. Cursor is the first tool to deeply integrate AI into a code editor. No browser tabs, no copy-paste, just type and let it assist you. It supports both free and paid plans, so you can try it out and see how it fits your workflows. Here are a few guidelines I've collected that helps me when I'm working with Cursor. First, be specific. The more specific your prompt, the better Cursor performs. Clear instructions lead to a better code. Second, take it one step at a time. Avoid overwhelming Cursor with multi-part requests. Break things down and guide it like it would be a junior developer. Next, GitHub is your best friend. As you may have seen, sometimes a single prompt can ruin the whole conversation, or in the Cursor case, even break your app. That's why it's important to save your work often, especially after a major change that you are doing. And the last one, once you have something working, add tests. Even simple tests can catch issues early and give Cursor better context later. If you want to dive deeper into how I approach prompt engineering, specifically inside Cursor, I've linked a dedicated video right here, so feel free to pause and watch it. In this part, I'm going to explain how to install Cursor, and after that, I'll show how Cursor looks and give a little bit of explanation about the UI. If you are already familiar with this part, feel free to skip it. So, in order to install, I'm going to cursor.com, and here I have a link for download for Mac. I have a Mac, so I can download it right here. You can also install Cursor with the Bro or with every installation manager that you have. After that, you will see this screen. This is the Cursor. If you are already familiar with IDEs, with VS Code, it looks almost the same. Here on the left, we have the folder that we have already opened. On the bottom, you see the terminal and the debug console if I want. After mentioning that you should connect GitHub to your project, you can see here that I'm connected. On the main part, you can see this is the file. I just created a file called example.ts. This is the code. And on the right, this is the exciting part, is the chat. We're going to talk about it and dive to it later. Let's start with the most interesting part in Cursor, the chat. Here on the right you can see the chat, and you have a few options. We're going to talk about them in a second. But before that, I would like to demonstrate how it works with a simple prompt. For example, let's create a new application for our community, Software Engineer Meets AI. So, create a website for my YouTube community, Software Engineer Meets AI. Now you can see that it is generating. It is already suggesting me the tech stack of React, React-based website. After he explains to me what he wants to do, he wants my permission to run a command. This is very, very important that you don't allow the agent to run any command he wants. And every command he wants to run, you are the one that is running it. So here, let me run it. Great. You can see it opens the terminal right here. and in a second I'm going to have the application. I just say, meanwhile it is running, that if you have a preferred stack or something that you want to use, you of course you're more than suggested to use it in the prompt. For example, if you are a JavaScript developer, you can write it right here, create a website with the JavaScript stack, or use Node.js or Ruby on Rails or anything that you are already familiar with. And after that it will generate it for you. Great, you can see that it completed the installation, and now it installs the dependencies that we have, and that's it. Now it wants me to install some more dependencies, and it will go over and over and over until it will set up the whole application. On the left you can see that it is already generated some code. It is a React application, a basic React app with the icons and everything and the CSS, and this is how we can use the chat in general. I will stop it, and I would like to create a new chat and talk about the options you have when you are using the chat. Here you have something called context. Is our way to add all the information we want for the prompt. For example, we can add a website. We can add some files of the code, for example, app.cs, and in other applications. We can even add whole folder. For example, let's add public. Great. Here you can add files, you can add website, and it helps the prompt to be more exact, to find the best solution for your need. After that we have already added some context, there is the main action, that is the prompt writing. And at the bottom we have the agent. We have a few modes of this chat. We have agent, which is usually what I'm using. It can create, it can search for data on the internet, and you can do anything with this agent. There is another mode called ask, which is dedicated for questions, especially when you want to question about your code base. I'll explain. Usually when we're working with Cursor, it's not a new project that we're starting from scratch. It is usually thousands lines of codes that we need to understand and to add our new features into. So here, this mode is dedicated for this. And when you are on ask mode, you can ask questions about the code base and where you should put something, or why something is not working as expected. The last mode you have is manual. To be honest, I didn't use it that often. You can decide what the documentation, what you can see here is that they're suggesting it if you want a full control of your prompt. You can add the context you think is relevant. It gives you more control. Let's continue with this part. At this auto, it is our option to choose which model we are going to use. You can see here auto select, which means that it will choose in between the models that are available and are on my budget or not. And we have something called thinking mode, which is a mode that adds one more step to each prompt that you are writing. Every prompt that you are writing, the LLM will stop and think about the response it wants to return to you, and see that it works and there are not some stupid errors that he did. It is checking the reasoning for its answer. Here I can also do something else. I can choose auto select, and I can choose a specific LLM, for example Claude 3.7, And now every prompt that I'm going to write is going to be with this LLM. Usually what I'm doing auto select. The most of my requests are to Claude, and if I want to change which models I'm using, I can go to the settings and change it over there. For example, I can go to the settings, and here I have models, and I can choose if I want this model or not. There are some more settings, but this is the one that affects this model picking. Let's continue. We also have the image button right here. It is very useful when you have a component that you want to create. For example, you have a design and you want Cursor to create the exact design in your project. So you can upload an image right here and tell the LLM to create this component for you. Let's dive into inline editing. Inline editing is another way Cursor allows us to use AI, and it is in a smaller scope, not like the chat. It allows you to pick several lines and ask specific questions about them, modify these lines, and so on. For example, what you can see here is that if I want to do edit inlining, I'm choosing this line. I'm saying I'm clicking Control K or Command K on Mac, and what you can see, it is the smaller prompt. Here I can say that, for example, if I'm not familiar with flex direction, I can say, what does this attribute mean? Now I have two options. I have the generate option and I have the quick question. Quick question will just tell me what it means. Let's run it, for example. This arrange flex items vertically and so on. But I can also do generate. For example, change it to be mobile first. And I click generate. Now is going to change the code, and what you are going to see is that, like in every change that the cursor suggests in existing code, it tells me if I want, it asks me if I want to accept or reject the changes. Here, let's say I want to accept it, and now you can see that it created something called media. This is how it works. Pro tip here for inline editing is that if you want to change something that is much wider than just the lines that you have already picked, you should do it with the chat. This is very, very useful just if you want to ask specific questions about syntax or something that is not clear in some lines that you pick. But for more general stuff, you should do it in the chat, because in the chat you can also add context, and the LLM has wider information about your code base. You can also use it to say to ask the chat to add comments to the code. For example, right here, if I'm going to flex direction, let's say I want to add comment that explains this. And now you can see that it is already added a comment about this part. And now I want to reject, and see that it returned me to the same status, same situation. The last topic I want to cover in this tutorial is how we can use Cursor to debug our code and how it works. For example, I made some change in this application, and we should run into an issue. But first, if I want to run the application, and let's say I'm not familiar with this code base, I can ask in the prompt, let me remove this file, and ask, how can I run this app? What you can see is, because I didn't provide any context to this prompt, is going to check the whole project and look for a way to run this application. He is right. In package.json we have the solution, and I could do it even better if I added package.json this prompt, what it suggests me to do is to enter to the folder and run npm start. So let me run npm start. Let's see what's going on right here. Okay, it ran the application and it cursed and it crashed. What we can do right here, let's see. This is a simple bug, but I want to show how it works. You can see that I received this error. When I select all the lines of the error, I can do add to the chat, and I can say fix this issue. So now he's analyzing the problem. He went to the file app.tsx, and now he wants me to change the file and to redo the typo. I'll accept it. After that, you can see that the application is running and we don't have any issues. This was a simple example of how we can use it for debugging, but it is very, very useful when you run into major bugs or something that you are not familiar with. You can just add it from the terminal to the chat and ask what it means, how to fix it, and so on. It is very, very useful. A pro tip that can help you is that if you have a bug in the terminal and you want to add to the chat, make sure you copy and add all the context of the bug. For example, where it occurs and all the information that can help the LLM solve the issue faster, and if needed, to search for it on the web and come with an answer. That's it about debugging. If you want to move to the next level using Cursor, you should set something called Cursor rules. Luckily, I've created a video about it. So thank you very much, guys. Please like and subscribe to our channel, and see you in the next video.